Hey, YouTube, how is it going? I hope all is well. Spent Electrons, Bindi, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate that. You guys are the early birds today. Oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy of all joys. We need to get some stuff done. I'm going to do something, though, that I notice seems a little off here. I'm going to try something real quick. This is either going to work or it's not. Hold on. Nope, false alarm. Nothing to worry about here. All right, give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. So today is a little impromptu. I apologize. I was very, very frustrated with yesterday's event, show, if you will. It did not go the way that I'd hoped. I was hoping to have some wires actually kind of ran. We did complete some things. I'm happy with how this came out. This did come out the way it was supposed to, so I'm stoked on that. This is one of the things that we're going to finish today. This is the one that comes from the switch up here and goes what will eventually go to this guy here. You'll probably notice that I remade a couple things and I got clever and decided to braid some stuff as well. I also changed the color because I didn't like it. We got black, white, blue, and brown. Well, the closest thing to brown I got is red, so we're going to use red. So black and red will be our hots, and then blue and white will be our neutrals for this. And I just made whole new fittings. So we're just gonna go with it and be done with it in that regard. So we got some of the stuff done, which is nice, but we just have a couple more things that we've got to do. So today's plan is to just get at least the power side of things figured out. That includes this guy here and the stuff to connect to the lighting module that I'll put in. I'm going to put this on a connector, as we already know. We've talked about that, so I'll cut those things so they're the same length. You can see they're just a little bit off on length, but we'll get those cut down so they will fit, and we'll put those little red connectors on there. So we're going to get all that buttoned up today. Hopefully this won't be a super long video. You can see I've got some liquid encouragement over there to make sure that my attitude stays well adjusted. I think my running short on beer yesterday didn't help. So my neck is still bothering the hell out of me. Today was a rough day at work. They're beating me up lately, but that's all right. We're going to get through this. We're going to do this. So let me continue to do some house cleaning or housekeeping over here, and we will start cracking along here. We may or may not need to bust out the soldering iron too much today, but for now, what I really want to do is kind of start getting the little things kind of polished off here. So this guy here, I'm just going to like even up the wiring on it, and get it prepped to go into its connector. So I hope everybody's having a good day, though. Better than mine is, anyway. I pray, I hope, anyway. It's not that it's been a bad day. That's just me kind of bitching about absolutely nothing, to be honest. But it was kind of a rough day. They're beating me up. We're just trying to get a lot of stuff done. There's a lot going on, and I just can't get enough done quick enough. So sometimes it's a pain in the booty. All right, so let's see if we can get the connectors for that real quick. All right, I don't think they're any different than the other ones I was using, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I can't remember. See, I'm assuming it's these guys over here, because this wire here is really thin stuff. I don't even know if it says what size it is. Some of the homework pieces that I talk about that I didn't do. GBT. It doesn't even say what size it is. Very unique. It's got a bunch of numbers that tell you some stuff, but it just says 0.3 millimeter. That's all it says, is 0.3 millimeter. I don't even think these things on it. It says 0.05 to 0.5 mil. And then these ones go 0.25 to 1.55. So obviously it's 0.3. So either one will work. I'm going to go with the smaller of the two because it's smaller. So we're going to grab 2 of the female and 2 of the male options. And here's 2 of the male options. And we already got the connector out, so I think that's all we're going to need to get that completed. Pretty sure of it. Excuse me while I burp already. It's a real show. All right, so this is going in. So the power is coming into this. So this is the side that we want to be the female connector. because that's going to be these two. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's see how these ones, if they work any different than the other ones. I don't think that they will. Now this is AC coming in over here, so we don't really care about the polarity on these. But what I want to try to do is make it so that these fittings go on the same way for both of these guys. So we don't have any like odd like crossover crap going on here. And it looks like I need to cut that thing ever so slightly shorter. So I'm going to nip just a little bit off the top. Oh. So yeah, yesterday was a rough day. Today's kind of a rough day. It's been a rough week. I have not gotten the level of performance I was really hoping to. I'm going to say it's the 20. I'm going to go C on this one. I think it's going to be C. And of course it's going to be like this. It's going to make me work. Pretty sure that's 22 gauge or something like that. 24 to 22. Okay. Okay. I know, we're already off to a great freaking start with this, aren't we? But it's good. We're having a good day so far. Ooh. See, that did not go very well. It punched the freaking wire up into the top of the thing. I don't think it matters because it is crimped, but it's just interesting that it pushed the wire up. I want this little guy here. It's not the end of the world, though. We're going to be okay, I think. I think I need to cut it just a wee bit shorter. Darn it. Maybe that's why they put instructions on these things, so you actually know what the hell you're supposed to be doing. There it is. Now it's inside the hole, at least. All right. It did crimp that thing down, though. That is a fact, Jack. So I'm going to give it one more safety crimp here, though. We're not going to second guess that one. It's going to be crimped for shizzle. All right, so now we're going to do that again. And it was on the 22 to 24 is the one I put it on. And this time I'm going to try to make it so that way I don't punch it up into the top of my thing there. I want it to go in the correct direction. Dang it, it's going to make me work. Hold on. Undoing. Jay, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. It was nice to kind of see your casa this morning and you just cruising around doing your thing. At both freaking times, I had to run off and go save the day elsewhere, though. So I didn't get to see when you actually closed up your show, but it was always good to hang out and chill and chillax for a few visit. So thank you for inviting us into your world. Today, we are going to get somewhere, though, with this thing. I said it earlier. I don't know if you caught the beginning, but this thing, we are going to win. There we go. That's where we're going to go with this one. Crunch. Oh, yeah. Mo better. And I managed to get them both kind of facing the same damn direction. I'll be gall darn. All right, so that one is going to be our female. This one looks like our male. This one looks like our female. And it looks like there is a directionality to these things. So we want to make sure that they go both in there the same way. And I'm going to say it goes like that. I don't really know, but I guess that's where instructions would probably be helpful. It does not appear to want to fit that way, though. So maybe they both go in the other orientation. Although that looks very much like maybe it goes like that. Maybe I had it just upside down as well. All right. Oh, yep, that's what it is. Ha-ha! Click. Ooh, that goes in there real nice. Oh, that is really nice. Now, I probably, in all regards, should have twisted this or made it shorter, to be honest, but I'm going to leave it that length because I kind of get the feeling it's going to end up needing to coil around in here somehow. Like, it's going to get worked out. Like, the length, I'm not worried about that. Now, the top half here, is going to go a different way. Those ones are going to a very tricky thing. That one, you want to talk about frustration. So this little guy right here, you can't really see it, but is it going to focus, you fuck? No, it doesn't want to focus. Let's try this one. So this little guy right, seriously, it's just not going to do it. Well, you can barely see it, but there's a little gold ring in the middle. That is the positive, and then you got the 2 rings on the outside. There, now you can kind of see it. All right, those are really close together, and this thing is magnetized, so it's really difficult to get the soldering iron on it. All right, we don't read instructions. That is very true. So yeah, those are some of the challenges we got coming up, but for now, this is technically ready to go. So now I need to get 2 wires that come out. I guess I didn't need to make it quite as long as I did, but I'm not going to worry about it. This is, to the best of my knowledge, going to go in here like that. And we're going to have to figure out some way to, you know, route that thing around in there somehow. So we're going to come into that. One way or another, that thing's going in there. So let me get the 2 little blue ones that I need. And let's... I thought I did this yesterday. Did I not? No, I did it to 2 red ones. Oh, wait. Are these the ones? No, I did do it yesterday. Ha ha! I got something right, at least yesterday. All right, so that's these 2 little turds here, right? So these ones go on to this guy, more or less. I mean, not more or less. That's where they go. But what we need to do is a couple things. I need to get some of this shrink wrap here. So this is the 3-to-1 stuff. This stuff is fun. But I think I need it just a wee bit bigger than that. I do. Because we want it to actually shrink around it. Yes, we do. Goodness gracious. My apologies. Alright, so this... man, that one's freaking huge. I don't know that I want it that big. I have a bunch that I have purchased. I also don't want it to be black. I want it to be white. And I do see the white stuff. And I'm just checking to make sure I got the size. Okay, I do. I have the same size as this white stuff here. I like it to be white on those. Alright, and man, I don't know. Hold on, let me break into this new stuff I got. Maybe I'll pull my crap together here soon enough. I gotta find it, of course. I wish I should have gotten this stuff out earlier, but so this is white, and this is the 1/8 inch, but this isn't 1/8 inch. I need it to be bigger than 1/8 inch. I need it to be 1/4 inch at least. So it's not this one. Sorry, everybody. Super exciting. I gotta find all the freaking stuff. This is the black, of course. So that means I think I got one, and I got a bunch of these things. Here's a white, and this is 3/16. 3/16, I don't think is the right one. I swear to God, I got the 1/4 inch though. I should have gotten 1/4 inch. This is 1/8 inch. Oh man, I got all kinds. I didn't realize I went that berserk. I got like every size known to man, I think. But I just don't know where it's at. 3-to-1, white. This is 3/8. 3/8 is closer to 1/4 of an inch, I believe. Well, 3/8 actually work though. Hell yeah, it'll work. 3/8 is like fucking huge. 3/8 is like way bigger than 1/4 inch. Hang out with Luke while he figures his crap out. There it is. I knew I got some. 1/4 inch. Holy hell. I told myself I wasn't going to have one of those days today. I'm kind of already having one of those days. But my attitude will shift here in a minute. Once the Tylenol starts kicking in, too big. Yeah, way too big. Once that Tylenol starts kicking in and I get that Red Bull down and we get a drink or two of the sauce, Luke's attitude's going to change real quick. Probably in a direction that... hopefully not the wrong direction, to be honest, but Maybe that stuff is 1/4 inch. Whatever. That's what we're going to use. So this stuff has the glue and all that jazz in it. Yada, yada, yada. It is a little bit closer. It's not... Yeah, no, it is. It says 1/4 inch, but maybe that's what it shrinks down to is 1/4 inch. I've never actually like measured it first and foremost, because that makes me kind of wonder now. That being the case, if that other stuff that I had would have been the right stuff to begin with, the 1/4 inch stuff or the 3/16. It's time to open this stuff up anyway. I bought it to use it, so let's discover together, you and I. Despite the fact that you don't really probably want to watch me discover what kind of freaking shrink wrap I bought and didn't know I had. Alright, I'm just kind of curious myself to see. You go there. Well, that will fit over it. Okay. So that must mean... So they must put the captured diameter on there. It'll shrink down. Yeah. Well, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, this is the one I want to use. This is the actual one I want to use. So the 1/4 inch is the captured thickness, or shrunk thickness, or whatever, which makes 0 sense because this stuff is 3:1. So if I'm thinking 1/4 inch, I'm thinking literally 1/16 of an inch, or something like that, is what it would shrink down to. But the frick do I know? It's pretty obvious that I don't. All right, let's come up with a length here of this stuff. Now, I have not worked with this stuff yet. This is a new type for me. So I'm just going to kind of make some broad assumptions on how much it'll shrink. Some of those other ones I've worked with, so I know kind of how they react. Some of them shrink a little bit more than you would think they would. And I want it to go, doesn't matter which way I'm going to freaking do it. Yeah, we're going to go like that. So some of this 3:1, when you heat it up, it's got this magical point where it shrinks just to where you want it. But if you put that heat on there just like a second longer, it's just... It sucks in the rest of the way, and then it starts exposing all your parts, and you're just like, son of a gun. All right. Okay, so we got that. So now I need the wires that come out. I do use white and black for that. I don't know if I have any out yet. It doesn't look like I do. I have some black here, I think. This is, what is this? This is my 20 gauge. This is 20 gauge. We don't want 20 gauge. We want 22. I think this is my 22 here, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's 20 as well. All right. I have a couple different spots where all the wires kind of at the moment. I am working through some of my old stuff is what I'm trying to do. But the stuff that I still have that I haven't burned through yet is obviously over here, I think. Or I have used it all already. No. I see some red. Where's that white down there? I see the white. That looks like 20 gauge as well. Maybe I burned through everything, or did I put it somewhere else is the question then. This is 20. That is for sure 20. I don't want 20 gauge for that. I'm being picky, I'm sorry. And then this red stuff. Okay, I guess we are getting to break into our new stuff. I thought. So here's my 22 gauge of the black. I knew I had that. The white is the stuff that I burn through the most. The reason for that is, and yeah, you can see I've already busted into my new stuff. I forgot that I did. So the reason is because I use the white for all of my wiring to all the pots and to all the things. So you burn through quite a bit of that a lot faster. So I go through more white than any other color. So there's that. Goodness gracious, excuse me. So the other thing that we got to figure out from this connection up on the top here is we have to Y out into two different things. Because we're going to Y out to this guy here. Because this is going to go from the switch over to here. So that's one of the things. And then the other thing that's got a Y out, it goes from there down this guy and then into this one as well. So I am going to twist this up, I think. I'm going to try to twist this up. This is that silicone wire. It doesn't really twist all that well. Just saying. So I'm going to make an attempt at it. There's 5 of you here. Oh, I'll be danged. Yeah, this stuff does not like to twist. It doesn't twist like normal wire. But I think it will hold. So I think if I do this, it will work itself out and stay twisted enough to be call it twisted. You know what I mean? The reason for twisting the mains wire is it does help with noise a bit. So in theory, it is probably best to use like the other stuff, like anything but this thinner 18 gauge like silicon carne wire. Mainly because silicone wire isn't really known for being, what's the word for it? It's known for being malleable, that for sure, but it's not very good at holding shape. But it seems to be working for the most part. So I'll take that with the, with what I can get from it. All right. So there's that. It's probably good enough, to be honest. Another nice thing about doing this to it is that it does help reduce some of the area that it takes up, so you don't have 2 wires just trying to flop around. And then what you can do is just zip tie them together in the spots that you need to zip tie them together. So just that. Now we will need to crimp 2 into the, and I will use black for the other side. So we need the other size of this. And since that is the larger diameter stuff, I will use this. So this is the 1/4 inch stuff here, isn't it? So it just says 3:1, but so, yeah, it says 1/4 inch right on it, I guess. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. But this one we actually need to be the 1/4 inch because we're using the larger, we're using this larger size like this on them. The question is, do I want to do this and then run another one that goes to those? How modular do I want to make it? Because in theory, if I take one off, I can take the other off anyway. Part of me wants to just use this, so I have 2 different things. So that is what I'm going to do, because that is, I feel, the more appropriate way to do it. So we'll have this guy here come off, and I don't think I need a left and a right to pull it off. I do not. This is going to be fun, everybody. Let's see here. There, I'll get that in shot for you, actually. Because I know I want you to see me burning plastic. And these. There it goes. Bloop. You. So I talked a bit about it yesterday. It was kind of late in the show, if you want to call it that, about the rules. So a little bit of clarification on some things in case you missed it yesterday. So there are some legalities, of course, as there is with everything. And some of those legalities include language. Language for how we claim this to be a sweepstakes. And I guess technically speaking, sweepstakes is the term that we need to use appropriately. And wow, what do you know? Those are basically the same length. I'll take it. So a sweepstakes is one in which there is no purchase necessary to join, which makes sense, right? And there also needs to be some other language that we need to add to our thing that, you know, exonerates YouTube from being, you know, involved with it at all, right? Because obviously YouTube isn't throwing this. Another thing that we have to manage is the amount of requirements from you guys. Now, we have already kind of made it stated quite clearly that you need to be subscribed to both John's channel, Grant Us Glorious Tone, and my eyes. I guess based on the terminology for it, that's a gray zone. So we can't tell you that you have to do it, but pretty much, since you have to be present to win, right? You have to be present to win the amp. Must be present to win. That's one of the terms, right? The only way that you would know when the contest, and it's not even the contest, but the drawing, the only way you would know is if you were subscribed. Makes sense. So you might as well subscribe. You don't have to, but if you don't, you're going to lose. Now, asking you to provide a video for entry is also kind of another gray area, because again, we're asking you for something. But where it goes away and doesn't really implicate anybody is that we're not showing the video to anybody, right? Now I want a steak. It's too late. But, right, so since we're not showing the video and it's not being used for promotional purposes at this point in time, the entry form is basically that emo with this short video. So that is your entry into the show, or into the sweepstakes, if you will. And that is the free part as well. Like, it takes 15, 20 seconds to do it. So those are a couple of the little things that are obviously need to be clarified. Outside of that, there's not much that we can require you to do. Obviously, the video has no outcome on who's going to win. It's not being used as a way to judge. It's just your way to enter in, right? So obviously that is the entry form, is sending, you know, Toshi, Sweet, Staffy, your video to get entered into the sweepstakes. The outcome is going to be random. So obviously we know that that's not going to be a problem, but, so there's just a couple bits of terminology we need to replace, and then we need to add a little disclaimer that says, you know, obviously YouTube is not sanctioning this and is not a part of this. So just a couple little things, kind of as a heads up, FYI, whatever you want to call it. So now what I'm going to do is, as I recall, I'm going to make it so it's this side is the hot, that side is the neutral. If I am not mistaken, that's how we went to do it. It doesn't matter either way. But as I recall yesterday, that's what we intended to do, because we did get this in there. And as I recall, and when I do put this in, eventually I'll give it a quick little twist. But so this went in here, it went like that. And I'm pretty certain, based on this length, I can already tell that one goes there. And then this one would go more or less like this here. And then maybe not. Maybe it did go the other way, because, well, this one would come up underneath and then it would go to something down there. I can't remember. It goes, no, that is right, because it would go right there onto the whatchamacallit. Yay! All right, that's right. Cool, that's going there. And then, so with these ones here, I guess if I wanted to be kind of a dick, and I think that was one of the things I was talking about yesterday, was if I wanted to use these clear ones, these clear butt connectors, I would have to just make them like permanently wired so that we don't use these guys here. So I'm in debates on what I want to do, to be honest, about that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, these will still work with that, because in theory, all it does is go over it, but it has zero, like, doesn't do anything for the top piece, which means I'd have to find, which I do have those. So I have those for the top ones as well. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll forego the shrink wrap. The reason I like the shrink wrap, here's why I like using the shrink wrap, and I may still go this route, is it does two things. One is it clearly denotes which one's white, which one's black, right? Because you use white on white and black on black. The other thing that it does for me that I really kind of appreciate is that it, because this stuff has the glue in it, it really makes it so the connection is like one, right? It's not this thing here, which has no structural integrity whatsoever. You can't even see it. It's so innocuous, right? But it is a pain in the ass with the other stuff. I wish this stuff had shrink tubing kind of built into it a little bit. That would be kind of cool, but I don't think it does. So now I got to make a decision. You guys want to help me make a decision? Do I go with shrink wrap and make it look all kind of pretty? Or do I keep going with this rubber boot stuff? Part of me thinks I should keep going with the rubber boot stuff. Mainly because I've already started with it. Might as well continue with it. So I'm going to put these aside for now. We're going to save these for later. I kind of answered my own question. How's that? All right. So we are going to double up coming out of, not these, we're not going to use those anymore. Even though those would work, but I kind of don't want to do that. I kind of would prefer to just use these guys. And be done with it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. You are allowed to put 2 wires in these things, just FYI. It's not very common, but you are allowed to. I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to do that first. So I have to pick a length for this thing. And that's kind of the scary part because I have to pick a length. And as I recall, my goal was to get that thing to land. If you wouldn't mind. Come on. To land right down underneath here. And now that I have to remake the other thing anyway, it really doesn't matter where I put that. So this is going to go, I think, like this. And that's going to go like that. So something like that. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So this guy is going to go right there. I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to kind of pick a spot there. We're going to cut it right at the dot. This is going to make it less than fun because I got to just pick a length. Generally, it's easier if you put the one on because then you can kind of get the other one to follow suit. But I think that'll be okay. So I'm going to pull that right there. We're going to cut it right at the dot. Okay. There's that. So now we're going to strip off a little bit on the end. And I think I'm going to go right there. Sure, why not? So I'm going to get the white done first. Now this does not need to be very long, but I don't want it to be ridiculous either. But I am going to cut it a little extra long, even though this stuff is like $1 a foot. But I don't care because I want it to not be too short and I want to make sure that I can make them nice and even like. And it gets a little bit easier. This is that stuff I was telling you is like really difficult to cut with these. Someday I'm going to get the right stuff. The white stuff, baby. Da, 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 da. The white stuff. What is that? Weird Al or something like that. Who does that song? Never mind me. I'm just being a goober, but come on, that was funny. You know it was funny. But looks aren't everything. Okay, we are going to end up soldering this as well. So now what I got to do is get the tool, which I should have out already, actually. Yes, this is the tool. Knew I had it. Oh man, it's going to make me work though. So I got to freaking squeeze it in just a little bit. There it is. But I want it to be just right. There it is. Something like that. Okay. Right there, yeah? Oh. Now that is, I know you guys couldn't see it because I was a rude jackass and I had it off to the side, but that is why these things are so nice to have. So you can't really see it, but see how it's just squished them all nice like and stuff, all the way around onto the bottom even. So I'm going to give one more little squeeze. I don't think I really need to be honest. That came out pretty good. Now the hope is that this thing will rotate around in such a way where I can put it kind of like that. So I want the pretty side down on the bottom. Now where I fook-doop though is doing that thing I talked about before where you're supposed to put this on first because you can't get it over that. So now, guess what Luke gets to do? We're not going to do that again. Alright, so I'm going to undo this. And yay. Golly. You would think it would be easy to remember to do something like that. But no. Luke forgot. So now he gets to freaking try to rip his other finger out. Haha! It went so much easier this time. Yay! Alright. So we're going to put this big one on. And that one's got to go through both. Jesus. Cheese and rice, everybody. You're supposed to catch me and do that. Yeah, right. Freaking hell. Thanks, Riley. I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you. Yeah, I'll remember the next time. Yes. I like that. That's going to be so awesome. Ahim pahim. All right. So yes, how about we do that right now? Well, it's fresh in my mind. I'm going to get the other boot out. So I didn't get two, I only got the one. I'm going to get the other boot out, and I'm going to put it on now. And I'm going to put it on the right direction too. Like that. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Jesus. All right. I'll worry about freaking... Oh my gosh. There it is. All right, cool. All right, so now what we're going to basically do is just cut the same length in black. I already know that length in black will work, so we're going to cut the same length in black. Or at least we're going to attempt to. Not that it matters, because they're both too long, so whatever. Now, the other thing I haven't done yet is solder that. Oh, I will go back and do that. But just know that I will do that. I did not forget. I just haven't done it yet. I know you were thinking that I forgot though, huh? Hey, got John in the house. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the jungle. It gets harder every day. I think those are the words. I don't know the words. I'm one of those kind of guys. Like I've written music over the years, right? I do not know the words to my own music. I'm horrible like that. I don't know what it is. I've just never been able to. I just haven't been able to. I don't know. All right, so I want to try to do it the same way as the other one. I'm going to try to get it so that the small wire is underneath when we put this thing on there. But I also want it to be lined up like such. And then we want that to go in there. And then squinched in a little bit there. Okay. And then we're going to go here, and we're going to put it right there. I think that's going to work. That worked. Worked like a charm. Yes. I'm debating whether I want to. Nope, it's in there good. All right. So that is on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the soldering bit. Okay. Put that there for now. I will say I kind of really like those tools that I got. I guess maybe it didn't move. I don't know. It looked like it did move. All right. Anyway. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. So the soldering is just because I don't ever want it to come apart ever. Like I don't do that. Deltone's phone, Annie. The fuse holder snapped? Oh, seriously, like, I don't know what they do to these things. Like, it's crazy to think that, you know, that they bang stuff around so much that, I mean, we kind of assumed maybe something was going to happen, but that sucks. I'm glad that the damage was minimal, however. All right, so let's get these soldered. Right there. All right, I know you couldn't really see that, but it takes so little and it looks so good when you're done. And both of these wires are basically unmeltable. So, you know, it's like a match made in heaven when you get something like that going on. I love that kind of stuff. So we're going to get just a little bit of that, and we're going to come into here. And there it goes. There it is. It looks so pretty. See, it just soldered it into one. That's going to look so pretty. But now, like, you are never going to pull that thing out. Like, you're going to break the wire before you know, do anything damaging to the connector. So don't go reefing on it too much, but just know this thing is going to be nice and pretty and stuff and things, okay? So now, I do need to do... How do I want to do it? So the other one needs to have a dual output as well. So what I mean by that is that oh man, that looks so good. Looks like it was meant to be that way. All right, so let's get this thing retwisted up here. Successful delivery, but the recipient is a newbie and might cause user. Come on, be nice. Be nice. So did he end up getting the cabinet? That is the Q mark, I guess. I did not get to see any of that. I've only heard tales. And Dale's not here yet, is he? No, he's not in here yet. But so much to learn, so much to watch, and so much for myself to do in such a short period of time. Like this stuff here. I've got all my own crap going on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this on here for now. And that is going to be a little bit tighter than I'd like, but it will go on. Oh, no, that's going to be just fine. Who am I trying to kid? That's just fine. Okay, so that needs to go that way. And then this will come up and around. I think I want to get one more around it there. There we go. I'm trying to play God with it a little bit here. And then this will go right here. Sorry, I probably got my head in the way there. But there it is. And then what we want to do is get the wires that I have here coming off the top out of the way. Because these guys are going to go down like this. All right. So that one's going to go, ooh, that one we made just long enough. Probably not quite long enough. That will work though, because I don't want it to get into the, whatchamacallit there. This is going to work. This is going to work, but they'll probably have to go down and then up. So I'll have to use this black one as kind of my thing here. So I'm going to have it go down and then over. I'm going to keep the black one the length that it is, and we'll do it from there. So now I got to get it off. No, it's on there good enough. I'll just make it work like that for now. So these ones I need to double up as well, but I got to get a different tool. That one uses this style of tool. It's a different type of crimp. All right, so let's Red Bull up. Nice, assembled in the UK village. Okay, cool. There's another gentleman that asked in the comment section if this was a worldwide amp. The answer is yes. Now, obviously, if you're in a third world country, like freaking, I don't know, Zanzibar or something like that, it might be a little bit difficult to get it to you. So be reasonable. There might have to be some limitations. I can, again, if you're watching this and you're from some other country and you're like wondering how the hell we're going to ship it across the world, the fact of the matter is we pretty much can't, in some regards. And by that, I mean, there are tariffs and there are taxes. We can't prepay those tariffs and taxes. I have already tried looking into doing it, and I've even made an attempt for Mr. Riley there to see if I could prepay for the tariffs and taxes. They would not let me do it. It is not something that we can do. Join anyway, though. Just be aware that there's probably some amount of taxes and tariffs that you will be responsible for in order to get it. Now, you can see you're not getting a cheap pile of shit. You're not getting a toy. So, yeah, you're going to win an expensive amp, but it's going to come at a cost that is significantly lower than, significantly lower than if you just bought it from the store or something like that. And you can't buy this from the store. So there. Oh, cool. That worked. Well, shit, let's get this other one off then. That's how strong that connection is. I was able to pull the connector off with the wire in tow. How awesome is that? So I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just trying to let you understand that, like, there might be a requirement on your part if you win, because it's one thing for me to have to build the amp, and I've said this in other episodes too. It's one thing to win the amp and have me build it. It's another thing entirely to expect me to also ship it to you and pay all the taxes and tariffs and stuff. So just be aware that that is a possibility, that you will have to cough up some amount of money. I apologize. I would wish for it to be any other way other than that, but I am a man of limited, I don't have unlimited fundage. How's that? And as much as I'd love to go on another vacation trip to some other country, I don't know that I can. Okay. But if you live in the States, I can almost guarantee you that if you live here in the States, I will probably drive it to you. Like, I will show up at your house with it. As freaky as that sounds. And for no other reason than it's just easier for me to get it there and I don't have to worry about, shipping problems. As we've just learned, Andy Lederman of YDNA amplification fame has sent an amp to somebody, and it came broken. So that does happen. It is a thing. Shipping is scary AF. Now, I almost firked up, and you're supposed to warn me about this crap. I needed to put this thing in there first. I blame it on you, Riley. You're the one who knew. Make sure if you're gonna go to the beach, you better bring a towel. Is that Tally? Oh my god, those guys, man, it's too much. Actually, I think I need to go this way with it. I want it to go upside like that. Now, come on. I want that to not slip out is what I'm trying to make it not do. Okay, and then in the hole you go. There it is. And then I want you to be nice and level like. Click. Well, it crushed it. This one isn't as nice as some of the other ones are. I'm going to say that right now, but it works, but it's not as good as the other ones. But that one split it into two down the middle, which is fine. I don't mind that. I'm still going to solder that, but it's just not as nice of a. I don't think it's the right type of piece here. This thing here isn't the right type for that tool. I think there's a different type of crimper that you're supposed to use. I don't have that one yet. I don't know if you're supposed to use the flat one or if there's another style of the ribbed version, but I love the style where it curls the thing into a little hook. I love that, but that isn't the one that does it. So whatever, your mother works at McDonald's. All right, let's see here. Melt. There you go, you melt. Melt like you mean it too. Ooh, that one's gonna be a little brat, huh? I gotta get a little more heat on this stuff here, apparently. Oh, okay, it did melt through. That's kind of cool. It's just not as pretty. Get that out of there. Try this one more time. There's just a lot of flux on this stuff here, which isn't helping anything either. So apparently this stuff just doesn't play the same. Yeah, there it is. Good enough. Okay. Okay. So now the other end of this black wire here, so you can kind of see what we got going on. We got like a double jump. The other end of this here will go into this red connector that I got here. See? Here, see? A blob of flux helps. Yeah, it does. Okay. Are you cool enough yet? I know that it went all the way through because I can see the solder. You can see it went through it. Went out a hole in the middle of it. And then I can see the solder at the tip. So it's in there, but it's just not on the outer edge. Whatever. Okay, there's that. Now I need to come up with a length that is somewhat similar for the other one. So this one goes... this is going to be a fun one, isn't it? You go there. Click. Then you go here. Click. And then you're going to actually go down. And I want, which way? I guess it's already kind of going that way. That is the positive side as well. So this light thing is meant for, like, it's an aviation grade. I don't know. Maybe it is. They say it is. I like it because it is pretty high quality. Certainly not cheap, so they treat it like it's aviation grade, but but it does have a plus and a minus side, so since the line is hot, that's the way we're going to go with that. And if you wouldn't mind, I want you to go onto your thing. There it is. Okay. That is all the way on. That will go down underneath the thing. And now what I need to do is make this one so it follows like a similar kind of path, if you will. Does that make sense? So I want those to kind of fall. I know it's really difficult for you to see, but there's the white wire there. There's the black wire. I don't want it to be like, maybe I do actually. It actually kind of looks pretty good if I go like that, because then they both have like the same little crossover spot in the middle there. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I did a good job. Ha! All right, so pull these off. And then... So this one here, we're going to cut at the end, and we're going to do the same thing to the white. Yay. And hopefully it crimps the same. Man, God, Zooks, it missed it again. This is so exciting, yet it's not very inviting. Okay, Mr. White. What I want to do is make it the same length as this one, just because, just in case. Meep. Somebody's out there honking. Not at me. Not at me. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Wiggy diggy, what's up, my man? Good to see you back again. Thank you for coming over. I know you have an email. Oh, okay, yeah. So if you go to my channel, my at ATech9020 channel, and then you go to the About Me section of it, there is an email there. It is a Gmail account. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I should, but I don't. But if I'm not mistaken, it is legacyamplification at gmail.com. Pretty sure it's Legacy Amplification. Riley and a couple of the other guys actually know what it is, and maybe they can even assist with that. But I do have one, yes. And it is in there. And crunch. And then I'm going to do it the other way, because I'm a glutton for punishment. And then I'm going to go back this way, because, well, it did do it the same, sort of. They are in there. That is a fact. All right. But yeah, I do answer questions. Do give me a little bit of time. I may not get back to you today. I may not get back to you tomorrow. But I will get back to you before it gets to be inane. Ow. And I want this thing to be pretty, so I'm trying to get the solder to flatten out. There it goes. Ow! It's a little warm. Oh, yeah. You know what I didn't do, though? It's all your fault. I'm blaming you, Riley. I'm not taking that apart, either. We're going to figure out how to get that thing over. One way or another, that thing's going to go over. Gosh darn it, Riley. You're supposed to tell me. I don't know how. I just keep forgetting, I guess. I don't know. It'll fit. It's just I'm going to have to play freaking God with it. And it would be easier if I had the types of pliers that go the other direction. I'll get it over. I don't know if I'm going to get it over right now, but I'm going to get it over. I know it can be done. How's that? But gosh darn it, it's like the third or freaking toy. I did check out your About channel. It's not posted. So you gotta, it's on the More section. So like, you know where my picture's at? I'm trying to remember now, so I'm going to go open up a thing here. Hold on just a second. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it is there. In channel description, yeah. So if you go to my channel, and I go view my channel, if you go to the More, so it says ATech, and then it says ATech 9020, and it says I have 150. I had 160 earlier, so I lost a few subscribers at some point today, but 154 videos. This channel is dedicated to learning and inspiration about music, live and recorded, yada, yada, yada. Well, it has More. If you click on that More button, it has right on there, it has my channel, and then it says view email address underneath more info. So it is there. Never fear, I am here. Almost always. Let me see here. How am I going to pull this thing off? I know it can be done. I have seen it done. Whoa, that's funny. Like, yeah, there it is. I was close. Legacyamplification at gmail.com. That's what I thought it was, but I don't, as you can tell, I don't really try to like sell anything. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't keep up on all that kind of shit. It's not for any other reason than I just don't. This thing is going over. It's going over. I'm gonna win. Now I know that's not going to help anything, but we'll get it over. I guess I could have probably used a little bit of heat too, maybe. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know. But now I gotta, there's like a little indent there, and I gotta get it to go over the indent, and that's what I'm fighting with right now. This is probably the last thing I need to do with you guys on here right now, but we're gonna just do this because guess what? We're here now. Because Riley didn't tell me to do it before I freaking put it on. It's all your fault, Riley. We're blaming it on Riley today. Who was it before we used to blame everything on somebody else? Was it you, John? We used to blame something on somebody. It's always somebody's fault. It's never your own fault, though, okay? Just so you know, it's never your own fault. It's always someone else's fault. That's the rules. I don't make the rules. That's just the rules. All right. It's coming here. It's going. There it is. Ha ha ha! I did it. I did it. I did it. Now the question is, did I do it good? So this needs to go like that. Actually, I think I did kind of get it just right then. So if I did this one this way, that would be on the outside. If I do that one that way, it would be on the outside. Yes, I did a good job. Such a good job. And actually, this one would go... Yeah. Yes! Ooh, I got a win. I did pull a win out of that one. All right. Sorry. A little excitable right now. If you've had the week I've had, everybody, you would get it. You'd be right there with me going, yeah, boy. Now I just need a clock hanging from my freaking neck. Yeah, boy. There it is. Oh, I love it. That's so much nicer now. Oh, I'm so happy now. All right, see how that works there? And then these two, I might just have come back around like this because it already follows that kind of, you know, direction. This guy is going to land somewhere in this area, like right in here somewhere. This one I'm going to end up wrapping up with the other one that goes there. That one will go here onto my PEM, and then the other big one, this guy here, this will land down here in this little corner. And everything will kind of tuck in together. I have decided that this one here, it's going to have to wrap out and, you know, come back in. What I think I'm going to do is tuck it in between the... I'm going to try to... So there's two different ways I can put this. This is the bias pot. I can put it so it's up like this, which isn't very helpful to me, to be honest. It'll make it easier to deal with the soldering and all that jazz. But the problem is that all the parts that it needs to connect to are those 3 dots down there, right? That's where it all needs to go. So I would prefer to have this thing where the tongue, or whatever you want to call them, are down. But that does not help me much in terms of being able to work on anything in here. As you can see, it gets very tight down there very, very quick. So this thing is going to have to go in after I put in the bias circuit. There are a couple things that are going to make this thing less than fun to freaking deal with. So that's going to go like that. That's going to go probably... Gonna have to lay it down like that. And that's gonna go in there somewhere like that. And this, I'm hoping what the plan is, you mother trucker, if you wouldn't mind, get up here. All right, so these are gonna go up like that into this area there. So it'll cruise up through there, and then it'll jute out around and go into the front. It's got to go into the front. So in order to pull this out, these things have to come off the back end. There's just no two ways around that. So there will be a method to the madness on how this thing gets put together. It will not be fun. It will not be easy. But that pretty much takes care of this. So now the last part is dealing with that little power cable. So I think I want to run it so it goes like that, because it just puts all 4 of those things together right there, and they'll go kind of like that. I'll give you an idea. This thing is going to be here, and click. So they'll just kind of, everything will just shoot that way, right? So I think that's what I want to do. But then that means this thing here is a lot longer than it needs to be. But that's okay. It kind of needs to have some length anyway, otherwise you can't get these things out. So pretty much once this stuff goes in, it's never coming out unless you really, really need it to. So now the question is, how even is this? Wow, that's how close I got it, guys. Like, they are like almost spot the fuck on. So anyway, what I'm going to do is take these and cut them down so they are the same length. Just like that. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave the length like it is. I'm just going to leave it nice and long like. And when this thing goes in here, it'll either go in, I think I want to put it in so it goes like this. And I didn't anticipate that being a kind of a problem. Maybe it's going to just have to live like that. It won't be able to though, because I need this to get, it'll work. It'll work. I'd rather go this way though. But it means I got to put it in first. There it is. So this thing here will just kind of wrap up in this little area there. And then these things here will kind of do the same, and then they'll all get connected together. I think I'm going to leave them long on purpose. It's not going to be pretty, but it makes the most practical sense, I think, in the grand scheme of things. All right, so now I need to get all these things back off, and you get back on there. And you come out, you come out, you come with me. Okay, oh my gosh, everybody. Okay, so I gotta make sure that when I do this, that they go in the right orientation here. Now, again, for these ones, it doesn't matter which one goes to which. So this is the AC in here, right? It doesn't care which one's, you know, line or not. Or at least I certainly don't give a crap. Because it's not going to be a problem for me. And there's that one. So that's going to go onto one of those. And we're going to get one more of those. Hey, Dale, what's going on, my man? And Dale just subscribed. Thank you, sir. To the build. You went to the big one. I was actually intending everybody to go to the lower one. I don't know if you saw it, but I have 2 levels now. At least there should be 2 levels. I have a 99-cent one and the other one, the one that you just joined, which is the build more. Thank you. So the build more, I never really talk about it much, and it's mainly because I'm not really looking for any money. I'm not looking for your money. Like, when the time comes when I need to sell something, we can talk more then. But in either case, I do have a subscription like thing if you want to get in on it. One is called the Build More, and the other is called I think it's just Fuel the Fire or something like that. So the Fuel the Fire is 99 cents, and then the Build More is obviously the $6 one, or $5.99. It's $6 more or less. But the objective behind the other one, the lower dollar one, was to entice people to move over to that one, because I kind of feel like I don't have a need to charge that much for the other one, the one that you just joined. I'm just trying to make it a little bit cheaper, easier for people to want to join, I guess. But I know I appreciate it either way. Thank you so much. Oh boy, so let's see here. Let's see. I'm going with the C, which is the 2420. So this is 22 gauge actually though. So I'm going to go one more back there, even though I did. There it is. All right, so this one here, we want to get in there just so. I'm just going to do it. Did I do it good, though? I did. So the challenge with this freaking Teflon coated wire I'm seeing is that it is rather stout. So the wire doesn't get punctured by the thing as much, is what I'm seeing. But it is on there. That is a fact. It is on there. So what I want to do when I do this one is to make sure that it get it on about the same direction. And I dropped it, didn't I? Because I felt something hit my foot. I think I did. There is the thing on the floor. I found it. It would be my luck. All right, so we're going to cut this down just a little bit here. All right, and let's just make sure I did good there. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay. And then I'm just going to punch that in there, and yep, I see the wire sticking out. That seemed to do it. There it is. Like a glove. It's a little long, but it'll work. All right, so now we got to put them into the whatchamacallit. So this is going to go like that. And once these things get wrapped up, they pretty much got to stay that way. So I got to make it so that this doesn't change anymore. So that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. And then these two are going to go like this. Yes. Okay. We've got kind of the angle of the dangle. These are both facing the same direction. Now, that's got to go like this. I think. It did not click. Maybe it goes click in the other direction. No. But it did squish my thing. So there's a little tang that it freaking squashed in there like it was supposed to. So I guess something went right. Where did I put that little fur? I'm looking for my screwdriver. Is that what I dropped earlier? No. No, no, no. Here it is. I don't know how I missed that. Okay. Hold up. Wait a minute. I want to get my little thing back up again. Boy, I think I need something with a finer tip. Dang it. What are you guys laughing at? Don't you laugh at it. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. All right, I got the little tang to come up. So I'm quite positive that I did it the right damn direction. I do see a 1 and a 2, whatever. Cool. Well, it looks like 1 should definitely be... I'm shocked that they actually numbered these, but 1 it will be hot. But the way I'm seeing it, it should go like this. That looks about right. Oh, that got it. Okay, that did it. That did a thing. Yay. Okay, so that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. That means this one's going to go down. And we want it to go just like I see it, like this. There it goes. Yep, there it is. You heard it click. Maybe you didn't hear it click. I heard it click. It finally got the click that I wanted to hear. Click. And that thing is on there. There it is. Now, these ones I could have wrapped as well. but I'm not gonna. These wires are pretty stiff, and it's so far over here where it's not really in the danger zone of anything. So we're just gonna let it. We're gonna let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Yeah, let it be. Singing words of wisdom. Let it be. He. Okay, so we've only got. Did I already bork things? I feel like something's missing here. Because I feel like something happened. No, that's right. This is the one that's going to this one. Perfect. Whew. Okay, so that's going to go there. I'm going to start getting things ready now. Because now things are actually starting to look... They're becoming real at this point in time. So this one's going to go here. Click. All right. Click. So that goes somewhere in this realm. This goes somewhere in that realm. All right. And then this guy goes click. Click. Also goes up in there somewheres. This goes underneath this guy. So we're just kind of starting to get a view of how this is all going to go together here. More or less what's happening right now. This is going to go like this. This is going to go like that. You can get like this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. Something like that, right? Makes sense? And then what we'll do is we can put like a little zippy tie right in here. And those will all just kind of go down like that. Right? And then the wires will shoot in, but you'll never see it. You'll never see those wires because they'll all go kind of next to this guy. Right? So everything's just going to shoot in and tuck in there like that. And then you'll have this guy up in the corner here, and this thing will just be coiled up in such a way where it'll connect with this guy. And this guy goes like this. Click. Yay, all right. All right, so everything's modular. So it can be taken apart for the most part. But you're never going to have to take it apart. Okay, there's that. Then this guy, this is kind of this other scary part here. So this guy's got to go underneath this. And that. So that will fit right there. And that's going to go down in there. I'll have the other end on it. This is going to go up and around over here. And then I think most of this will get undone, and then they'll have to go into that thing the way that they need to go. Oh my God. Kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. Now this guy here is going to be cut way, way shorter. I just took a couple of the wires that were already done. And no. There is quite a bit going on in a pretty small little chassis. Yeah. And here's the funny thing though. It's not that small of a chassis. This is pretty big. This is a 17-inch wide chassis that is 8 inches deep. Now, realistically speaking, I should probably make a 10-inch deep chassis. That would be more the high watt size, and I can kind of get why he did a 10-inch deep chassis. It's because he wanted all the more space. This is the tightest it's ever been for me. And it's literally because of the way I'm doing things like this here on either side of the output tubes, etc., etc. I'm not making it easy on myself. Okay, cool. Crack the corner of the front cover too. Ah. Or my gird. Honestly, the fuse holder bit, like if you go to Antique, it's not an Antique Electronic Supply anymore, but it's what's that freaking? It's a 3AG fuse holder. I think is the one he went with. If it is the 3AG, this thing is like $3 or $4, and you might be able to get this from. They might have that at Home Depot or something like that. They're not entirely expensive, but. Sorry, I'm kind of wasting a little bit of time right now, pounding my Ready Bowl, because it is time. It is time to get some attitude adjustment. We're going to have a drink for a couple reasons. 3 reasons, in fact. 3 reasons we're going to have a drink today. All right. So hopefully everybody's got their... remember the rules, right? What are the rules? Rule number 1 is to have a drink of choice within arm's reach at all times. All right. Now, it does not necessarily have to be of the alcoholic type. I'm a functioning alcoholic, all right? But a drink of choice within arm's reach at all times is simply that. So whether it's a Red Bull, Dr. Pepper, or a Cherry Coke, or whatever the hell it is that you drink, within arm's reach at all times while building an amplifier. All right? You just need to know that this amp was made safe and sane. But I do follow the doctor's orders. So reason number 1 to have a sip is that Dale, congrats to you on the Destroyer, I think is what it's called, right? Is it the Destroyer? The 400? Reason number 2 to have a drink is that we have actually made some freaking progress. I am just about where I wanted to get to last night, sans just getting this thing done. So the 2 hours that hour and a half, it's not as bad as I thought it was, but still it's going to be about 2 hours. Took me 2 hours to get back to where I wanted to be at 3 hours last night. So here's to 5 hours of getting to where we finally wanted to be a day ago. And I guess the last cheers, if you will, for the night is just thank you for everybody being here. And I got a new membership, so thank you, Dale. And just thank you to everybody. Cheers. Oh yeah, that's so freaking good. Put some hair on your peach. Sorry, Bindi. I don't think she's here. She's been gone for a while, I think, but I like to keep it real on this channel. You know, just because I am a man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man, what a really good man. Is that how it goes? Okay, so we've got a couple things left to go here. Let's get some stuff out of the way here that I don't need. In hopes that I can make my life a little bit easier here. I don't think I have to worry about any more shrink wrap. Part of me wants to install that and get it out of, just get it over with. Cheers. I will. Cheers. Hey, whatever you got, that's a drink of choice. That's all I say is drink of choice. That is the only requirement to fulfill rule numero uno. Now the question is, so installing this thing right here, when I say installing this thing right here, I'm talking about this guy here, the thermistor, is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. Once I install it, more or less, it's kind of like in there, which means I'm always going to have to be working around it from that point on. In theory, there shouldn't be anything that's in the way, but do I is the question. Part of me thinks, nah, let's just wait. But it will definitely help in figuring out like where some of this stuff is actually going to go. Because there is some of that kind of what if to do here. So I'm going to try to do a soft install of it. I'm not going to go full bore with it. But I know that I will need to. This is going to suck. This part here is going to suck. In fact, it's going to suck so much I already know that it's going to behoove me. So this guy here, I'm going to literally have to build after I put in a lot of this stuff over here. So to get what I'm getting at there is that there's some parts that go over the top of it. And we're going to have to build it with those parts hanging over the top of it. It's going to be freaking joyous. So, yay. I want that to go this way. are you one of those types like my Jay and you know, Dale and stuff? So I'm one of those types. This is how anal retentive I am, right? So there's two sides. How many sides is there to a washer? There's two sides, right? You've got the side that looks like it's been stamped, right? So this is like the stamped side, right? And then you got the other side, which is the beauty side, right? This is the side that's all smooth and nice and rounded over. I am the type that, depending on where that thing is at, there you go, crown black. Yeah, let's get it. So let's say I want this to be going into something that's finished, but it's not the finished side. I will put it in where the beauty side is facing, like in this case here, beauty side towards the thing, so that the ugly side is facing my whatchamacallit, my standoff. And then I'll invert it on the other side. I am that kind of anal retentive. So on the top of the amp, if I am using a washer, the beauty side is up, right? I am that kind of guy. That is the difference. Okay? So what I'm getting at is that is the difference when you start getting into these boutique amps. So you think we're freaking weird and out of our freaking gourd? We are. No doubt about it. Because nobody in their right fucking mind actually sits there and contemplates that crap. Except for me. But it is muy importante. I don't know why, it just is. Like, there's a reason that they made the washer look that way. So that's the way it's got to go in there. Alright, so I'm already fighting things. I can see that this is going to be less than fun. I want this so I can hold that guy. What the fuck am I doing? I got a goddamn tool for it right here. Alright, there we go. I said I wasn't going to fully install it, but you knock it off. There it is. That's good enough. That gets the points across. This lower one here fits no problem down in that little goalie, whatever you want to call it. And then this guy here, I'm debating whether or not I want to put it on top of that or underneath that. So that's what I'm trying to work out here is, do I put it together? I guess I might have to do one and then the other. This is going to frustrate me. I'm starting to get frustrated. This wire is pretty sticky to itself. Okay, there it goes. That's more or less what we were looking for. All right, so that'll go in there, and then this will go back a little bit. That's got to go over. There it is. So that'll all fit down in there. Not a problem in the world. And then this will go out a little bit more. And then that will go there. That will work. I don't know what you can really see, but you can kind of see that's where the fitting will go. That's one of them. It'll go underneath the wire, which will get held in place by the little spacers that I got, which will keep it away from the other wires. So it's in the safe zone. Not worried about that anymore. And then, of course, everything else. Yada, yada, yada. But I just need to have this over enough where this goes into the corner here. So what we want is for this guy to exist in this corner. That guy, the fitting there, right? So that fitting has to be able to fit within that space there, because I got to run all those other cables and stuff out of it. And I think that is the way I want this to go. Yes, it is. Yep, just like that. So that'll go literally like right down in the corner there. I think that's going to work okay. It's going to be fun getting this other piece to stay slid over, but it will stay slid over. It's just a matter of working everything in there. There it is, something like that. Okay, I'm confident with that, so that means that's where that's going to go. The other thing that's going to suck is that green wire. This one here is going to go out. I was going to go out like that, and then it's going to go over the top. I know you guys can't see it. let's make it a little bit easier for you to see what I kind of am talking about here. So this guy goes this way. All right, that goes in. And then this green wire goes down into that that little ground lug that's down there. So it's going to go over the top, and that's what's going to hold all that in. So all of this will be tucked nicely away in that little corner there, which, again, much of you won't see. That's going to go like so. All right. Again, much of you won't see because this guy will be kind of in there hiding it. Tight fit, it's going to make it. I'm actually starting to get excited because it is looking really convenient right now. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to leave that on there for now. Get over there, stay over there. Time for another sippy poo. Finger up too. Wait, Andy, thank you again. Oh, Dale. Oh, hey, there's Andy. What a mess my ass. This thing is looking clean. It's cleaner than your butthole. Yeah, it is pretty tight. I'm not exactly stoked, but it is going to be okay. It is going to be quite all right. So, it's got to get done one way or another, so there you have it. Now, the next question is how I'm going to get these things to go in there the way I want them to. So if I can get them to fall off the way I want them to, then we don't have a problem. And it's kind of cool because they are working sort of the way I would like them to. So that's going to go like that. Those two are going to go there like that. And then these two are going to come around. It's less than freaking fun, but it will work. So what I think I'll do is I'll twist these two together like this. And I'll twist these two together like that. Don't you laugh at it, Andy. Don't you freaking laugh at it. My own. Hey, Colby. What are you doing? Yeah. You missed the Red Bull. I finished that off a little bit ago. In fact, and they can vouch for it. It was just before we busted out with Mr. Makers over here. So yes, I have gone through my two things, if you will. Now, the question is, so many questions, is how do I want to do this part? So those two go over to there, but I still got to come off with the white one. That's this one here. This one's still got to go out. Oh, dropped it. Oh, this part I'm not really looking forward to. Yesterday getting those two in there was a bitch and a half. And there's just no two ways around it. Now, the other thing I thought about doing yesterday, yes, sir, I did braid it. But, so yesterday, I was running two wires out of one hole, right? And I was going on about how it freaking sucks because it's not really meant for that. So I thought about maybe running one wire out and then joining the other two together. But that is kind of, like a little butt connector type thing. I don't know if that's the way to freaking do it either, though. It might be easier. Yeah, we got it right this time. So you'll notice I changed the colors. So I got red and black. So those are both my hots. So my red is basically my brown. And then the white and the blue. So I've got American neutral and EU neutral. I got it right this time, Riley. So what, you ended your live and came over to here so you can harass my ass? I see how you are. Oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy. How do I want to do that? Well, first and foremost, I got to come up with a length. So, hell or high water, I just got to come up with a length to cut these things. So, I guess we just got to pick a length. So I'm going to say that, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's not a bad look there. I can accept that. I'm not doing this again. So just so you know, this is, if I fuck it up this time, we're going a completely different direction. So, because I'm not into freaking doing this a multitude of times. So that one's going to go there. And get in there. And I don't know really if I even want to try to attempt figuring out what these other ones are going to be. But I kind of need to. And how do I want to? So the blue one's going to go down on the bottom there. And that one's going to go across the top. I know you can't see anything because my fat fucking fingers are in the way. But just bear with me. I'm working this shit out here, okay? It's gonna come together in the end because it's got no freaking choice. I just want to make sure it's all gonna be kind of the same freaking length. I'm trying to come up with a length here. All right. It's kind of lurking. It's sort of freaking working right there. Yeah, I can dig it. Get a little bit longer. Yeah, I can dig it. All right, we're going to cut that one right there. All right, and then this last one I'll deal with later. No, I can't deal with it later. God darn it. And so we're going to just do it now. So I'm going to try to just stay in your home. And I'm just going to cut it right here for now. It's a little on the long side, but we'll deal with that in a minute. I'll tell you right now, the silicone wire is kind of half a bitch to work with. It's not exactly as fun as one would think it would be. I'm going to undo that because I don't really want to mess with that anymore. So I am going to undo this part so we don't fork it up. We want things to maintain prettiness. So we're going to maintain prettiness by trying not to fuck it up to begin with. Right, Andy? Don't fuck it up to begin with, and it'll stay pretty. Alright, so we're going to get this out of the way here. And if you wouldn't mind... That fucker's on there. Damn, that one's on there really good. Burp. Excuse me. Alright. Okay. Now, this one, I kind of want it to come off, to be honest. I don't really need it to be on there anymore. For now. Thank you. Damn. Alright, so we kind of have an idea where that's going to go. Then we need to get this guy here. Now we know that that one's going to land like right in here. I just want it to land like right in the freaking middle. And then these ones are going to go... I'm going to come up around the back and in through the front as well. So it's basically going to follow the same path. And I'm just going to cut it right freaking there. It's probably a little on the long side. That is fine. Yeah, I think we'll make that work. And then, so I'm going to place that so it's like right in the middle here. And we're going to get this guy and do kind of the same. And I'm going to make it just like right there. And click. I don't know if that's going to work, everybody. I do not know if that's going to work at all, but we're going to do it. Part of me, like I mentioned, kind of wants to do the little butt connector and take one that comes out here and then goes into the two. What have we got? Turned into Eggman using those connectors. Yeah. No freaking joke, man. No freaking joke. I don't really want to try to solder two of those things on there. But I kind of do. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. And I'm going to take this out because I know I'm never going to be able to get those wires in there. So what I'm talking about now is that since I put solder on that thing, like the odds of getting the wire in that hole, both of them especially, is like next to freaking none. So if I put one wire out and then jump the other two, like with a butt connector or something like that, I might have a chance. But that's going to look freaking ugly. Oh, you use those on the power supply? Yeah. Part of me just wants to. Part of me wants to, but the other part of me is like, nope, ain't going to do it. So what I'm going to try to do is clear some of the solder out of the hole here in hopes that it'll give me the full width again. This one here is pretty close, but this other one's not. So just bear with me while I work with solder here. That went pretty well, actually. See how it covered it up? Maybe you can't, but it covered it up. Fucking thing, focus. Yeah, I gotta blow that out. There it is. Alright. That might freaking make it work. Alright. Bear with me. If you were with me yesterday, you recall this was torturous. Here's another fucked up thing I'm just kind of realizing. Bear with me on this. Oh, I mean, it fits. But will it work all the way around? Yeah, it will work all the way around. I'll be damned. I do got to put that one on there first. Because this is all going to come in one piece here. God damn, this is dumb. This is freaking dumb. Alright. 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 Here goes nothing, everybody. We're going to try this again. It was a fight yesterday. It's going to be a fight again today. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But I'm going to give it a shot. I also do want to put some shrink tubing on these. I'd love to do the stuff that shrinks and glues. So I am going to give that a shot. I'm not going to use a whole heck of a lot, though. We're going to use just enough to cover it. And that will cover it. So I am going to use... How much do I want to use? That much? Is that going to be a good amount? Click. Oh, yeah. That's going to be way too much. It's going to be way too much. Hold on. Let's go to, like, here. Yeah. I'm really just looking to kind of protect the connection because I don't want these connections to be, like, literally out on the top there because they are kind of on the top there. So I want to be able to use this heat shrink to kind of just lock it up, right? Lock it up. I'm going to give that an attempt. I do not know how this is going to go, though. So bear with me on that. I need to make at least 4 of those. At least 4 of those. Get in there. I really, really, really hope I don't fork this up. Andy, you stick around. Don't you dare go back to your fucking whatever it is that you're doing. You stay right here, bud. You watch me suffer. I want you to know. I'm going to cut 5 of these just in case. I have 4, but I'm going to cut a 5th one. Just in case. That's good enough. So you stay put. You're gonna torture with me here. All right. So the blacks go together, but we want to make sure that they go in this thing first, which is gonna make my job that much more difficult. Because everything's got to go in like a certain freaking order, too. And once it goes together. Oh, is it not going to fit both wires in there? Is that what we're going to play with today? That might actually help me, to be honest. It's just not my day. Everything's going to fucking fight me, isn't it? Alright, well, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to be a dick and just pull it through, but I don't know. Come on. Work with me. Don't make me spit on it. Is that Andy calling me? No, it's my friend Michael. Sorry, Monster Cavalier. I'm going to have to call you back later. I think he wants to do lunch tomorrow. Everybody wants to hang out with me. I'm just saying, I'm pretty popular these days. I'm one of those guys everybody loves. I'm just kidding, of course, but I don't know. I might have to go with a different type of shrink tubing on this because it's just trying to pull the jacket down now at this point. Oh my God, really? Is it like going to be like that? Erg. I don't know. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, as they say. As they say. If and it were easy. Oh, then I go and pull it too far the other way. Alright. Oh, get Mexican for lunch. That's the best food. It is my favorite food group. That is a fact. I actually really do like Mexican food. Well, I can already tell you that if this isn't going to go over these two, then it's not going to go over the other one. So I need to get the 1/4 inch. So I'm glad I made a 5th one of these. I'm just going to cut this one off because I'm not trying to mess up the wire any more than I may have already. So that's going away. We're going to get rid of another one of those. We're going to go with that 1/4 inch, that 1/4 inch stuff that I had. Because it's apparent that for those ones, it needs to be slightly longer. And I need the skizzers for this. And I'm going to go right there. And I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to go right there. I think that is... I was so close. I'm going to cut off just a little sliver. And how close are we now? Perfect. 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 Alright, so let's try this again. Oh, damn. That went too far the other way now. That's the one downside I'm noticing to silicone wire. Is that the jacket is quite malleable. Silicone covered wired or whatever the hell you want to call it. Alright. Those are now even. I like that. Even Steven. Isn't this incredible? Isn't this what you thought you were gonna do today? This isn't what I thought was incredible. But this is what I do anyway. 'Cause I'm amazing at being unamazing. Alright. So both of these go into number 1, which is technically the opposite side, but we've already factored that it doesn't matter which side they go into. So now, are we going to get 2 into this thing here? That is the question. My bet is, yes, they're going to go, but it's going to fucking fight me the whole way. Because that's what it did yesterday. Damn, I'm watching a turtle. Yes, you're watching a fucking turtle! You're not watching a turtle, you're watching a guy fight with freaking shit that doesn't like to fit in its freaking space! There's more to it. There's a lot to it, Brian. Almost called you Brian. Andy, there's much more to it than meets the eye, okay? much more to it than meets the eye. I got them in there. That is still hot, so that's a good start. But now I gotta get these things freaking squished up here a little bit. And then hopefully not piss them off. I gotta keep them in there. That's the thing, I guess, is what I'm saying. So here goes nothing. Here goes nothing. Da, da, da. Da, da. That's kind of not right, but it's gonna look pretty here in a minute when we freaking do some stuff here. We're gonna do some things, see. And then also be reminded that it's gonna make me work. It was asking much. It was asking much anyway, but and if you wouldn't mind bending over, thank you, sort of. That is not pretty, but it is in there. Technically, it is in there. And I want you to go to the top, is what I want you to do. Ugh, this is not my idea of freaking fun. This isn't working the way I was hoping it was going to work. This wire is something else when it's soldered up. It functions, it's getting it to stay put. This silicone wire is not very, I don't know how to explain it. But that is not going to fly. Whatever that is not going to freaking fly. I'll tell you that right meow. I need it to basically go entirely the other direction. So get hot and bend over the other side. There you go. There it is. I think that actually might have done it. Okay. Yeah, I think that did it. And then this will go over it like that. And I'm going to go ahead and get that part done. I want to get that out of the way. I'm going to scrape off this little bit of flux that's here. Sorry, I know you guys can't see much. No, the sleeve screw's right here. I did that. I did remember this time, Riley, but I'll give you points because you were on it. Sorry. Not even in the shot at all. Alright. Now let's see here. Did we damage anything on the freaking part itself? Doesn't look like it, actually. I think we actually might have not furked anything up. So the only thing that sucks is now at this point, the way that this wire comes in on the bottom of this thing, because this thing is going to go like that, right? This is coming in over the top. This is coming in at the bottom. So we got to make it the same way on the other side. So little things like that. But we got them in there. They are soldered. I'm in debates on how I want to do the other side. If I want to get the white done first and get that kind of out of the way, or what? Oh, okay, I guess it doesn't matter. So, luckily this thing here fits through my connector. That was the thing that I spent all the time getting these Molex connectors for. So these Molex connectors here, I picked specifically because they would fit in the space that I had to work with. So, yes, this should go through the hole. like that. You get what I'm going at. You get what I mean. I kind of want to get the evil shit done first. So I'm going to go with the, I think I'm going to get the white side done first because I just want to get the evil crap done. So I'm going to stick this in the hole the way it is meant to, and I'm going to try to get things kind of going that way. Probably not going to work, but we're going to try. See? Ha ha ha! Now, does it fit over this? Yeah, this one's going to be... This one's the tight one, but it does fit, technically. I got it in the other hole, anyway. I'm going to have to, like, squeeze it in there, but it will make it, so I'm going to leave it alone. Whatever. Okay. So this is going to go like that. And I just got to get this other wire so it goes the way that it's supposed to go around all that. This is going to go kind of like so. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we're going to get this white one done first. Okay. So that's going to come up like so. And that one's going to go like so. Like that. Yeah, I think we can get this to work. Okay. Do I dare? Do I dare? Do I dare? So I'm not going to use the black one. I did cut the black one for that. I'm not going to use the black. We're going to use the white. And this is the 1/4 inch white. So I just created an extra chunk of that I didn't need to. But that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to cut this nice and straight. Because I like straight. Click. Get over here. I think I cut it a little long. I did. And I cut it a little long more or less on purpose. I didn't really want to have a nice short piece. We wanted it to be long. There we go. I don't mind wasting frickin' shrink tubing, to be honest. Like, shrink tubing is the least of my frickin' cost expense worries. I like it right more than anything. So, is that the same length as that hill to the user? Okay. So, here's what I think I'm going to do to make it easier on me. I am going to put this thing in. Click. And then this got to go on. Don't fight it, just go. It's like right freaking there. What do you got to lose? Just go in there. There it is. Alright, so now I gotta undo the freaking whatever it was I did. There it is. And everything's got to go through it. And in. And I'm going to go ahead and take this out. We don't need this in there anymore. Turtle power. This is not PV. This is not a freaking PV. Okay. There we go. Click. Pound, not PV. There it is. Alright. That's going to go like so. Around like that. And then this one's going to stay like this. And then this one's going to go there like that. And then this one's going to go here like this. And those got to both go in there. Yay, okay. I think that is it. What is it? I hated that song. I want it all, but you can't have it. I never understood what that song was about. What is it? I don't understand how I just don't. There's just some things that defy reason and logic, for lack of a nicer way of putting it. Oh my god, this is going to be such a fucking pain in my ass. Why am I even attempting to do this? That is a question. I do want to remember to put this on first. That is a fact. Riley, you almost forgot to let me know. Are we going to go in there? No, we're not going to go in there. Of course we're not going to go fucking in the hole. So this is the trouble I was having yesterday, and I think it was this hole I was fighting with the most, to be honest. There is a way around that, I think, but it doesn't fit. Is it this one? No, hold on. You can kind of do this thing where you take like a, I don't know that I have a small enough device, though, to implement. That didn't really help much, but ooh, this might do it. You can generally take an implement and you can kind of work it out. Like this one was just the right size to help kind of work out the hole a little bit. Sometimes that'll work. That's what I get for trying to put two wires that are bigger than it needs to be to go in the hole. So okay, that one's in. Now to get this one to do the same. It's not going to do it. And I don't think I'm going to get lucky. Like, something you can try to do, I'm going to give it a shot. What I'm going to do is give it a shot. Whether it's going to work or not, it's up for debate. But I'm going to attempt to tin just the tip. Just the tip. And if you do it just right, you get a nice, really thin like layer on there, so it doesn't stick out, and it allows you to poke it through without, problem. We're gonna give it a shot. I don't know, may or may not work. So that one slid in like a frickin' dream, but the other one, let's find out. Yeah, that's gonna be a brat, but it is sort of trying to go in. No, it's just not going to do it, is it? Is it even going to go in if I don't? Yeah, no, it'll go in if I don't. Alright, I think we've exhausted all the sane options. I'm going to go with the insane option. That's too big. I'm going with insane option. Insane option. Too big. That's good. We want not too big. Yes, there it is. That's the one. So that's why it's giving me hell going in there. Gosh darn it, just get the fuck in your hole. I'm just trying to get the hole to wallow out a little bit, just enough so I can get both wires to fit. Nice and clean like, see? Sorry. I know this is brutal. Ahead, thinking that thermistor position. Yeah, you definitely want to work a lot of those things out early in the game. I had an idea of where everything was going to go, but you don't really know how it's all going to fit until, of course, you're looking down the barrel of the gun going, yeah, that ain't going to fucking fit, is it? And then all you got left after that is like, well, I guess we're freaking dedicated to that now, aren't we? There it goes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, there it went. It's in the hole now, at least. Now the challenge is to get it all, like, pretty like. And that is another challenge. Because this wire does not like to play very nice. Apparently. I want it all. Alright, I'm gonna just make this frickin' work while I'm ahead. I'm gonna just do it. We're gonna make this frickin' fly here. Do 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 do. I'm gonna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. Ow. And I'm sorry, I'm sure all you're getting is my head at the moment, but that's what you get. Oh my God, we have it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have somehow managed, to get that fucker on there. Alright. Alright, so let's get this kind of cleaned up a little bit here, because now we got to introduce... let's see here. Do I want to try to heat it up while it's in here? Yeah, I will. Hell, why not? I'm just thinking of Andy right now and the freaking with the lighter. I know exactly what I'm getting you for Christmas, Andy. If you're still here, for Christmas, I am sending you a heat gun. Because using a lighter is some bullshit. That's like Stone Age shit. They make heat guns for that very purpose. Alright. Anyway. I still love you. But the heat gun's got it. Or the lighter's got to go. Alright, so there's that. So now we can kind of see how this is all going to fit in there. At the very least. Yes, this is going to work. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. Sweet. So now we got to get the other two. I'm not really worried about the other two fitting that much. So I'm going to get this thing off of its little screw base thing here and pull it out. And as you can see, it's going to fit no problemo. Over that part anyway. I don't even know that I need to pull this thing all the way out to do what I want to do next. But I'm going to pull it out far enough to make it so I can do the work. So, this is, I guess I'll pull it out. Why the hell not? What do I want to do? I want to do the big one first. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Now, come on. Get down on it, down there. Get down on it, down, down, digger, digger. Da 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 da. With the wall, get your ass up off the wall. Hey, da da da. Get down on it, down, down, down. Fuck you. It's gonna make me work just a little bit here. I gotta freaking distort it. There it is, I think. Ha ha ha! Motherfucker. Don't make me work. Make me work. I don't want to work. Tired of working. Alright. So those go kind of like that. So what I need to do is make sure that these kind of twist around in such a way where those will go in there like that. Okay. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Same with this one here. I want it to wrap around in such a way where it'll go over the top. Over the top. You remember watching that movie? Okay, so the question mark is, do I want to go with black on both of those, or do I want to put a white on the neutral and a black on the other one? I think I'm going to be appropriate, and I'm going to do white on neutral and black on, of course, black. So, because I am going to be goofy and anal retentive like that, we're going to do it right. And I did cut that long again. Yes, I know. On purpose. And click. There it is. There. Now they're the same length. See? See? I'm not that evil. I'm sadistic, but I'm not that evil. All right, so these will be much, much easier to deal with because there's only one. Ooh, don't do that. Got caught up in my thing there. All right, so this here, I think what I'm going to do, let's see here. We want that to go, we want to double check on this here before I get too invested. That's like that. Yep, that's good. And then that's going to go just like that and down in there. So, when it's in parallel mode, it should have both the primaries together and both the neutrals together. So that should be 115. So when I do this, I just want to do something real quick. I want to check my craziness, right? Before I am... You hear that? Deep, beep, beep. Okay, so we're going to put this one in on the black, which is this one. Ha. And it should touch this other one next to it. And it does. So that would make it in parallel. So when we wire it up and it's in 120, it's powering both the hots. So yay, that's what we're going to do. I need to put this guy on there. That is the hot or the line, whatever you want to call it. And then this guy is going to go in there, in your home. Please. And Andy must not be here because he hasn't quipped back at me yet. Fuck you, asshole. Get in your home. It went in there earlier. Before I pulled it out the last time, it went in the hole like a freaking dream. There it is. Like a freaking dream. So this one's going to be a little less fun to do, but we're going to do it. But luckily, it kind of wants to hold itself still because of the way the wire's all bent up and stuff. So it should be a little bit easier to get this thing to do what I need it to. Okay. There's that. Now, ooh, wow, that actually did really good getting on the inside there. I'm going to add some to this. What I want to do is get down in there like this. There it is. Oop, nope, that's not what I wanted. What is it doing? It's going the wrong way there. Hold on. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a second. There it is. Haha. Okay. It just blobbed a little bit of solder over. There's just like a little blob that I went in a place I didn't want it to. So we're going to get that out of there. There it is. Clear. And then we're going to put this little thing in there. And I am going to heat that now and get it over with. Alright, so you can kind of see here now, it's starting to look like a switch with a bunch of stuff on it. And then this last little freaking one right here. We just want to make sure it goes in there right, like, that's going to go in there like so. And that is correct. Alright, so this one we need to put the white on, but first and foremost, we're going to, I guess I'll put that on now, get it over with. Alright. Okay, and then we're going to go, I know, I apologize, I'm not really doing it over the freaking bench. It's a bad habit. I'm not used to really doing this over the... Oh. We already know what the fonts are going to look like. And trust me, I hate, like him, I hate going through the freaking fonts. There's nothing... It is such a pain in the butt. There's so many freaking fonts. There's literally a million freaking fonts out there. So it's like, which one do you go with? So there's no right one, period. But you have to pick one. You know what I mean? You have to pick one. So, damn, that is freaking tight in there. I don't really like it that much. All right, so let's get this guy. I'm going to bend it out just a little bit here. All right, I want to get that off of there. That is going to have to do. And I don't know what the hell that was. Instagram's trying to get in touch with me. Yeah, I have zero understanding of what the hell Instagram is about. Like, I know that as a freaking guy that's like burgeoning and trying to freaking get a business up and off the ground, all that bullshit, like, yeah, I'm supposed to freaking embrace all the freaking social media crap. It is such a fucking absolute crock of crap. Like, what the hell is Instagram? Like, it serves zero freaking purpose as far as I can tell. It is not doing anything for me that I need. Other than, I don't know. It's just a fucking look at me kind of thing. I just don't get it. I, honest to God, do not understand it. I don't like it, Sam. I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Okay. I have built it, and it looks sticky. I think this is going to be okay. It has to be now. We can kind of test that, actually. We're in a spot now that we can actually test the connections like in real time. So these should not touch each other. I should not have contact between these. I do not. But over here, I got red and black over here. I should have contact on these. I do. I just did. Okay. But I do not have contact on any of the others. Okay. And now when I go to the other side, beep. Okay. And darn it, moved. That was me touching the lead. Sorry. Okay. Yes, we are good. No contact elsewise. Now, if I go to the white here, I should get white here. I do. If I go to black here, I'm pretty sure that's black. I should get black here. Yes. All right. Everything is touching the way it's supposed to touch. It's working. Okay. Okay. It's working. So meow. I'm going to bend these a little bit. Burp. There it is, you guys. That is, that is it. So hopefully that'll just go in there the way it's supposed to. I guess at this point, this is done. So this is done. This other part is done. The only thing I haven't really done is the ground wire. I don't have to do the ground wire before I put those in. In fact, it might be easier to not put them in first, but thermistors are not for bad design, Andy. Thermistors are to do one thing. Just slow the inrush current. That's it. That's all they do. Just slow the inrush current. Why do we want to slow the inrush current? So that way we don't have to freaking stack 5 of these things up with balancing resistors in order to get the amount of UF. I'm going to have 200 UF right here. This little fucker right here. 200 UF. Why? Because I'm running them in parallel. So I'm running 100 in parallel with another 100, and then I only have the one ground connection. So this will give me 200 UF at 500 votes. All right, I get 500 votes from that thing. You understand? No need for a balance resistor. Why? Because I'm not splitting it. I'm not running it in series. I don't like running caps in series. To me, it is such a waste to take two of these things. I mean, these things are like $25 a piece or something like that. Yeah, right around 20 bucks a piece or something. And then stack one series into the other and only end up with, in that case, you would end up with 50 UF. You got 100 and 100. If you series this, it's 50 UF. I'm going 4x that amount, right? With 200 UF at 500 volts. Now, the only thing you gain by going with series on these guys is that you turn that 500 volts into 1,000 volts worth of capacitance or voltage capability. But then you need the balance resistor, right? That's what the balance resistor is, to make it so that this first half here doesn't bear all the brunt of everything, right? I am not like AI skipping corners. That is not skipping a corner. That is getting 200 UF in one cap can without sacrificing the grounding point. So yeah, when you run them in parallel, right? So two caps in parallel, the UF doubles, but the voltage stays the same. All right, so I still only have the 500 volts. Well, no, I'm only using the thermistor to slow the inrush current so it doesn't freaking act like a dead short to ground. So this isn't to you, Andy. This is to everyone else who doesn't get it. So when a cap discharges, right? So these things will discharge over time, just naturally, right? So let's say you leave the amp off for a week and then you go to turn it on. As far as the angry pixies are concerned, this connection from the anode to the cathode on this thing is like a dead short for the period of time that it takes for this thing to charge. Now, a large UF cap, like this one here, where you've got essentially 200 UF, takes a little bit longer to charge up. What do I mean by that? So let's use 100 because it's a nice round number, but let's say you have a 10 UF and you have 100 UF. There is I can't remember what the delta is on it, but there's a mathematical equation that takes the UF versus the voltage, and it can factor how long it will take to charge this thing up to the HT voltage that you have. So it's not the 500 volts because you don't want to breach that. But let's say you're running 100 volts on your HT rail. Well, at 100 volts with X, amount of UF, it'll take, let's just say, 1 minute to fully charge this up, right? So from the second you turn the amp on till the moment this thing actually has the full UF capacitance charged up at the 100 volts, let's say it takes 1 minute to pull that off, right? Well, if you had 10 UF, it might only take 10 seconds. That's the difference. So the larger the UF, the harder the hit is to the cap when you turn on the angry pixies. So the thermistor, all it does, it's not doing anything else. All it does is slow down that inrush of current, allowing this to basically charge up slowly so it doesn't look like a dead short. And there's always a need for a thermistor if you don't want your amp to buzz when you turn it on. So like on the Destroyer, when you turn it on, I think that buzzing that you're hearing is literally the caps coming up to a charge. Because you do have quite a bit of, as you know already, and self-admitted, you have a lot of capacitance in there. So even with those balancing resistors, all it's doing is sharing the power over the top of the two. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're charging any faster. It just means that one is not charging faster than the other per se. So a thermistor helps get rid of that noise. Why? Because all it does is slow that inrush current to the degree where it just, it's just the caps charge up faster or faster than the current flows in, I guess is what you could say. So that is not skipping a corner. That is actually adding engineering. So there. Okay, so we got that. The only thing left that I have that actually has to get connected over here then is the ground wire. So at this point, I'm going to call it for the night. I've gotten as far as I wanted to get. I will put this in the hole. Yeah, I will put this in the hole. I will do kind of like a little test fit, if you will. But I am quite positive at this point that everything is going to work. Fits through the hole. I got it that far. That is 9/10 of the way. Luckily, I'm probably not going to have to send this thing in and out too many times. So I'm going to get this one in, meow. And then this guy is going to go in. There it is. And now, for my last trick. This guy is going to go over the top of all the connectors and bada bing, bada motherfucking boom, bitch. Modular. Modular. It comes on out like so. That's going to fit in that little corner there. That's going to go basically like that underneath all that. Something like that. Is it pretty? It's not the way I wanted to do it, but it will fucking function. Malfunction junction. What is your function? You guys remember watching that as a kid? I'm dating myself when I say that, of course, but you know, when you know, you know. And if you don't know, now you know. What do we got here? I'm off to shower. Remember, Andy, if you shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it. I have a bird that I babysit on occasion. And that's how she laughs. She's too cute. Her name is Tootie. And she is such a cutie. All right, there it is. Something like that. That's how it's going to go in there. Will it fit? That's the next question, is will it work with this thing in this space here? The answer is yes, we know it will, because it's not ideal, but it will function. That stuff will stay up out of the way. It'll float up above that. It will work. Yeah, that has air up there. Cool. All right. And in an attempt to not fuck with it any more than I need to, I'll probably put a zip tie like right there and just kind of like zip tie that whole little group together. But that is quite nice, if I do say so myself. That is going to function. Yes. All right, I am going to call it there. So tomorrow I have quite a bit to do. I mean, we've 2 hours and 30 minutes. We're actually a little bit better than I thought. We're exactly at the point now where I was hoping to get yesterday. So that's all we can say about that. So at this point, I kind of got to work out some of the bias stuff. So I got to get tomorrow the connectors I need for these are coming in. So I'm going to get this side of the circuit built. So the leads that go to the tubes for the bias circuit and whatnot, I'll get that put in, and then I will try to just get as much of this backside over here done as we can. The objective to get all that done is so that way we can start actually thinking about putting the transformers in this thing. That's mainly the idea. Once we get that put in and the backside of this amp is kind of locked into place, the effects loop is the last thing that will go in. And there's a couple other little things. I got to get it. There it is. There's a couple little things I got to work out. Currently, the HT kind of plops up over the top. That's not bad. It doesn't hurt anything. I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way or if I'm just going to pull it out from the bottom and let it flow from the bottom wherever it wants to go. But in either case, I got a couple decisions to make with how these wires are going to run. But as of right now, there's no interference. Everything works for that the way it's supposed to. One of the other things is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. I'm probably going to end up having to put the output transformer in first before I get the power transformer in. There are some wires that come from the output transformer that will run along these guys here. I have to decide. I think they're going to go along the back. So if you can imagine, this will go kind of in that zone there. These guys here, I'm going to run straight back. Like they're going to go from here and they're going to go straight back and into this guy. Or I may go over the top like this and then run it over. I haven't decided how I want to do it yet. I'll probably end up going that way and around because there's plenty of length. All right, there's no need to freaking make them 3 inches long, but this side here, these are just long enough. As you can see, this red wire here, that is our center tap wire for the primaries. It's pretty much got to get over to here, so I'm almost positive I'm going to have to add some length to it. These ones here might just be long enough, and it looks like they will, considering I'm already outside of the chassis, and I can get at least one of them over to this side over here. So I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about these ones, but this one here, I'm probably gonna have to grow some wire, which means I'm gonna have to add some length to it. We'll see. I'm hoping I'm not gonna have to, but one of the ways to get around that is to shoot the wire straight in as opposed to going out to the edge of the chassis and around. Now, the wire is already kind of at the edge of the chassis, so a couple different ways that you can go about it, but I like trying to go for as short as I can, but with where this is at and the ultimate difference in length that it's going to be, there's no reason to try to cut like a little ½ inch off of it. So in that case, I'm not going to worry about it too much. What else? Everything else is kind of coming together the way it should. So objectively this weekend, my goal, we're not going to make sound this weekend, but my goal this weekend is to be able to put all the power stuff in and only have to wait for the power transformer to go in, because that one there, I've only got one connection that I have to do, which is this guy there. The other ones don't depend on any of this stuff over here, so I'm not really worried about that. The next thing I'm going to have to probably do is get this thing mounted in there, so I'll probably put some double-sided sticky tape on a couple sides and then get it just down in there, and it'll just live there permanently. It won't be in the way over down in that corner there, right? Second to that is we'll get the bias circuit done. That is going to be less than fun, but we're going to get that done. The challenge with the bias circuit is that these guys here have wires that go to them that do come off of the turret board over here. So the turret board is this one here that I'm talking about, all right? I do not recall exactly which one of those it is. Hopefully it's not any one that are right there, but I can tell you right now it's probably one of the ones that are right freaking where that mess of wires is at. It is what it is. So the way that it works is that I'm going to have diode. All right, so those will be the two diodes for the power supply, the HT, and then I'm going to have another diode which is going to take care of the bias circuit, and then it'll be cap and cap. So the two caps are for the bias circuit as well. So the very first 4 nodes are going to be, or turrets are going to be eaten up by that. There is a hole, there is a spot that will be empty on this turret board here. There won't be anything going to it. And I think it'll pretty much land right about where this thing is and where it wants to kind of land at. But there's only one. It's not like I got a whole wide area, but we got to figure all that kind of stuff out. The unfortunate thing is I can't really build this guy until I get all the bias stuff kind of in the back there. Because these little guys here, they go in pretty far, and I got to get those all connected and stuff. It's not going to be fun to mess with the bias circuit after it's put together and then this thing is living on top. Now, the beautiful thing is that once this is built, and all the parts are kind of laid across it the way they are, it in theory could be lifted out of circuit, right? We can unscrew the things, pull it out, and move it out if we needed to, and it will lift in one piece, etc., etc. Where the challenge comes in is all the different wires that are coming off of it. Now there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like half a dozen wires or more that'll go to this thing from other spots on the amp. But we will deal with all that when the time comes. But it is a tight fit, but it's not really. It's just very practically put together, I guess, if you will, in that regard. It's the little things. I'm trying to, I guess you could say, engineer it out as we're going along here. So some of these ahas and gotchas that I'm running up against are just things that, you know, it's like, well, I can see where it needs to go, but it's how do you connect it to get there without actually having done it, right? So that's what I'm working on. That's what we're going to try to work out tomorrow, though, is getting the bias, or at least the parts for the bias control or bias circuit figured out. So that way this entire section over here is just done. Maybe even get these guys installed. We'll see. But by the weekend, I want to try to get to a point where both of the transformers can get put in and we can start focusing on the money parts. This is really where everything is. That's where it's done at. It's all that shit down there. And then maybe by the end of next weekend, I can get this thing. That's not the parts that I would use. We know that you wouldn't use anything anyway. And why the hell? Oh, you're a sneaky fuck. You guys might want to get him, by the way. That's not a 1, that's an L. I don't have enough control quick enough. Yeah, You're not the one. I'm almost positive you're not the one. And I'm just not gonna do it. So see you later. Anyway, there we go. We got one. So see how clever he is, guys? Oh, that was Dale that's off to the shower and crash. Okay. Andy, how the fuck did you not catch your own imposter over there? So I don't know if you guys saw that. It says Leaderman L976. I'm sure he's still watching me, but I don't play that game, fucker. Just so you know, homie don't play. In either case, that's the plan. So maybe by next weekend we'll have it make a noise. Monday, so goddamn, April's gonna be busy for me, right? Hopefully this week too we'll start burning some faceplates and other stuff like that. But in either case, we will hopefully be able to at least make some noise. The faceplates, the way that I've made all this thing, obviously, you know, putting that thing in there right now is kind of a wash because I need to have this faceplate. So that might be another thing I'm going to try to get done this weekend, because it would be really, really nice that once this goes together, it never comes apart again. That's the plan. The front side I'm not as worried about. The front side will have to come apart because this guy's got to come out anyway, same as that, etc., etc. But this back side is the bitch of it all. So we don't want... Okay, anyway, we got it. So yeah. Next weekend, we'll make some noise. So, April, I've got a lot going on. I still haven't heard from the gentleman yet if I'm doing the Easter show. There's a show that I historically have done on Easter Sunday every year for the last several years. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I haven't heard from them yet, so I'll call them up and find out for sure. They told me to book it the day of last year, but we're going to find out for sure about that. So that's coming up on the first week of April, I believe the 7th, I think is what it is. I think that's Easter. I better know. And then I have another show on the 18th and just a couple other little things. On Monday, I am going to drop off a bunch of my monitors. So I have a butt ton of monitors that I own that will be rented out to some event it's some big event. But they're using basically everything I own in that regard. Need to put together a quote. Where I live, we have a yearly flower festival, And for that flower festival, I've been doing sound for 25 plus years, and they have never once ever asked me to provide sound. I've never really tried either. But I finally, after I retire from doing sound, they hit me up and they're like, hey, you wanted to, put in a quote for our thing? And I told them, hey, it's going to cost this amount probably. I gave them a little window or whatnot. And they were like, sure, send us a formal quote and we'll talk about it. And I was like, oh shit, I thought the number I threw at them was going to scare them away. But I got to create that quote this weekend too. I got a lot going on. There's just so much shit going on. So, yeah, with all that being said, I'm going to call it a night. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Even you, Mr. Leader Men L976, just don't mess around over here. That's all I can say. Don't mess around over here. And that being said, I want to thank you all so much. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.